Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to a new video looking at champions that are just really good at climbing faster than normal. We've got like 3 weeks until the end of the season now, so we don't really want champions you can master and stuff in main. What we want are things that you can pick up and win with straight away. So listen, timestamps for the roles are going to be below. There are quite a few champions in this video, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible as I can on each, and the key things that you should use or play around that make these so good. Down there is also going to be how to find good builds, runes, masteries for these, and thank you to Pro Guides actually for editing this video together for me and saving me some time. If you still feel like you need a little something else after watching this to help you climb, then go and check out the guides and help on the site. So we're going to start at the very top of the map and we're going to move our way down. And for Pantheon, there is not much difference between a new and a good Pantheon player. Actually, in gold and below, at least, there really isn't. The main things you're going to be using here are your crazy high damage and your burst, even early. We are building lethality, right, which is really good against people who don't buy armor. So if your lane opponent doesn't buy Tabby or you focus enemy AD, you're going to be set. You have strong laning and kill potential to get ahead, and you can use your ultimate to help you roam to other lanes once you get ahead. The next one, Jarvan, good lane phase and team fight. Your damage can catch people off guard pretty hard. The main things you're going to be using are this early damage to fight and get a lead in the lane phase. Your team fighting as well is really good because your E flag actually grants assists easily because of the aura it gives, so you get way more gold than any other top laner. You can catch people by waiting in bushes and just popping them. You can TP bot lane to pick up free kills. You can roam to lanes with no flash, and it's really easy. Yorick, next one, weird champion that most people don't understand. You can use that to your advantage and deal some really good damage. He's got a very strong early game. If you get a lead, you can fight after your Sheen and the damage is awesome. It is burst damage. That means he's quite difficult to play against. He's excellent at diving with his cage thing and poke beforehand, and then he can either split push or he can team fight. The split push is really good with your Sheen damage on towers and your ultimate. It makes the game really hard for the enemy team. So you're probably starting to see already that these are not the same as my best champion videos or what you see on other stat websites. That's because sure, if you can play Fiora well, she is quite overpowered, I would say, and you can climb out of bronze easily. She is not, however, that good to pick up and win with straight away. So if you cannot play Fiora right now already, but you still want to climb before the end of the season, you'd be better off and win more with Yorick to start with. Okay, so next one, Tryndamere, probably the most underrated top laner, really good at split pushing and winning games, which is something people do not know how to play against. You're creating really hard games, basically. You win sometimes when you shouldn't, just because the enemy team doesn't understand what to do against you. You can cheese people in lane, you can bring ignite, or you can get some big crits. Either way, it kills early is kind of game over because you are this scaling champion. You're also amazing at diving people with your ultimate, right? So if they are behind, you can steamroll over them. So 3 more quick ones. Malphite, more of a team pick this time actually, becomes too tanky to deal with and makes those comebacks happen mid-game. Very good versus AD champions. You typically die less than almost any other top laner because he is that tanky, but you still have good damage, especially with Iceborne and Abyssal Mask. If you build them, you can actually kill stuff. You're engaged to start good fights is a massive thing, something a team often lacks, and the team who engages first has the advantage normally. Jax is a little bit surprising, but because of how good he is late game, if you mess up early, it's still going to be okay. He's a very easy champion at a basic level. You jump in, you stun people, you auto attack. You can split push and you farm to outscale, which is always a very safe way to play, so you can't really go wrong. Nasus is a final one. Easier to get stacks when people don't pressure you and then you just have to press Q. Your Wither can shut down the enemy AD who likely does not have a QSS for it, and your sustain from passive means you can take bad trades and you're still going to be fine. So for junglers, Xin Zhao is the best jungler you can play though to climb quickly. His rework was over the top and has made him amazing at every single stage of the game. Warrior and Trinity Force is way more burst than most people realize, which is legit insane. It's also not that popular, so it catches them off guard. You go 2 damage items and then you go tank, which means you can survive making mistakes or engaging for your team. You're good at farming and ganking, good early and still good late game. Amumu is the good old Annie of the jungle, really. Very easy to play and still very effective because he can engage. It's like if a Malphite and Annie had some kind of weird baby. Your ganks with Q can actually be okay, but farming is still fine anyway. Your damage is pretty decent too. He gets way too tanky to deal with, and that is pretty hard to play against as an AD. Your ultimate engages are the reason you win so many though. Feed your ass off all game, do nothing, whatever. Just land one good ultimate on 5 people and you can turn it all around. Jax was definitely a bit of a surprise for me, but even as you start to play him, you end up winning a lot of games apparently. He earns a lot of gold for a jungler. He gets a lot of farm while still managing to kill stuff as well, which means he's very good mid to late game, but early he can gank with his buffs and his stun. I think being a good duelist also helps him. If you want to invade or find people early, you can actually kill them, but late game obviously you're going to take over the game. The Jarvan is not much of a surprise, extremely good early game, so this is one for the gankers out there. You can choose a lot of kills, level 2 ganks, or later you blow a flash, then you loop around with your ultimate. He has really good damage for a jungler, so you can actually carry, and you tend not to die that much, which isn't really thought about with Jarvan, but you're kind of tanky. You're safe with your EQ. If you get caught, you can leave, and you can kill people first. So Shyvana Shyvana is the farming god jungler who is more likely to split push than actually teamfight, really. You don't normally see these junglers doing that well, honestly, but if you can find that playstyle, like farming in the jungle, coming out for a bit, ganking, find people alone, you can do really well. Actually, she doesn't die very much, which is a bit of a surprise as well, but has really good damage average per game, so when you do fight, you really hurt. Warwick is like a hybrid between a tank and a carry. That means if you're ahead, you kill stuff. If you're behind, you tank stuff instead. He's really good at taking over a game early, good farming and good ganks, and basically a beefy frontline that does a lot of damage early too. Everyone loves to play AD stuff at lower ranks, and Rammus is the way you get free wins out of that basically. Pretty easy to play. You keep powerball into lanes, you taunt, you kill them, but he's very hard to kill while still dealing decent damage if he can get close anyway. Ahri is the definition of a safe champion to play, and her win rate early, like for newer players, is absolutely insane. It means your mistakes are not going to cost you games, and that will help you climb a lot faster. She has very good laning, good damage, kill potential, safe, and even a heal. Her roaming is also going to play a part in this, like with your ultimate, even if you are seen, you can make a play through wards, and your charm can set up a lot of plays. Just ultimate forward, charm, hope for a hit, and start a fight. Annie is the easiest champion in the game, I think, so no surprise that statistically, I really hate saying that word, she is the best mid laner to pick up and win with straight away. Flash ults will win you games, and they are not that hard to do either. She's very easy to CS with because of her Q mechanics, so you get a lot of gold even if you suck. Her AoE damage can be massive in team fights as well, so you can actually kill multiple people. Malzahar is another easy champion because you don't have to use his kit properly to win games with him, which sounds a bit weird, but like flash ults, for example, again, will win you games. Your team can follow up on that suppression. You don't even need to use your damage. You're very safe with your passive, which means mistakes in positioning and stuff like that will not cost you games either. He's very hard to gank. It's weird, but like his damage average per game is not that high, but like his build has got a good amount of health, so it's easier to survive, and that seems like what it comes down to. Anivia is again least deaths per game on average for a mid laner, and that is why she is here. She can absorb the focus, ganks and stuff, and still survive. She does more than just bring damage, I guess, but early game that damage is really high. If you get fed early game, it's pretty much game over. You can one-shot people. You can carry though with stuns, bursts, slows, or even walls, and your passive makes lane phase pretty easy to farm and trade. So getting away from just like safe but very effective champions that we've just had, Twisted Fate is probably not what you think though. First of all, his passive, the gold you gain from it is insanely high. Even if you suck at farming, you will get a lot of gold and a lot of items. Suddenly, league becomes very easy when you have a lot of gold, actually, you'll notice this. And also your ultimate roams to help your team in ganks and turn them around, which is going to win you games. Ziggs was less expected, but a very strong champion. He's got a complex kit, I think, at a high level, like when used effectively and stuff, but easy to win with still. His poke is insanely high. You can win games basically solo. You poke, you kill before fights even start, and he's very easy to farm with again, and surprisingly safe with his mines and satchel. Vel'Koz is a final mid laner. Again, kind of weird for me, but like complex to be amazing with, but easy to win with anyway. Just easy to do the basics. You have your W to farm and your Q to poke. Now your Q is actually harder to dodge than it is for you to hit it, if that makes sense. Like the enemy is going to have a harder time than you are. It's mainly his damage though. It's very, very high. Even just by pressing R in team fights without any other kind of setup, that is very hard to play against. So for AD carries, there are not that many ADs to start with, but we've got 5 here that are better at climbing faster. Misfortune is the not really an AD carry, but we play a bot lane anyway champion. One of the highest damage AD carries though, with her AoE ultimate and heavy early poke. Qs in lane can win the entire game. If you poke enough, you chunk them out, you're going to get a lot of kills and a massive CS lead. She's actually a really good teamfight champion, probably one of the best. Her autos suck to be honest, but her burst is really good, and if you have any kind of crowd control, her ultimate becomes really easy. Twitch, of course, is the late game god champ, so if the enemy team cannot end, then you always stand a chance to win. Roaming around is going to be easier for you. People don't pay as much attention or expect you to be there, and for once as an AD carry, you don't actually need that much farm if you get a load of kills. You have this AoE damage with your ultimate, which means you're a lot less reliant on your team to do damage as well, because you can basically kill everybody. I think Twitch is one of the hardest carries out of any AD carries because of this as well. He gets a lot of gold because he gets a lot of kills. So Jinx is statistically the 3rd best AD carry to climb quickly with, and this time because she is quite easy. The Ahri of AD actually. Decent at everything. She's so well rounded. She gets decent kills per game, assists, farm, gold, and even low amount of deaths per game. She can right click in rocket form and do a lot of AoE damage, which is hard to teamfight against, but gets her a lot of easy kills. She's still actually relatively safe though, with her chompers, crowd control, and her really high range. So Cogmore is weird because I don't normally recommend him to people below like plat or diamond. It's not really what I thought, but with sensor supports, this is kind of the deal, and Cogmore does the most damage out of any AD carry. Rage Raid Rush and Sensor is really overpowered, so way ahead damage wise 1 to 2 items in the game. He's very hard to play against if he uses W to fight with the range, and he can do objectives really quickly as well. Tristana is basically the opposite. Like the safest AD in the game, and that is why she can climb faster. She doesn't cost your team games if you mess it up. Easy farming means a lot of gold, more items. AD carry is very easy with a lot of items. You also have good damage with high range to stay even safer. It's really easy to team fight with. If jump and knockback wasn't enough, you have this high range to start with. So for support, good old support left until last. I'm sorry, support main. It's probably only one or two of you watching, but still. Sona, her highest win rate is with the newer players climbing quickly. It's actually insane. It's really weird. She's the best support at helping her team carry or getting carried, whichever way you want to look at it, I guess. Her good damage early paired with good heals makes a massive difference. Her ultimate can set up a lot of plays or defend her team well, and her aura spam with like cooldown reduction from her ultimate ranks makes her one of the best teamfight champions without really even trying. This is not what I expected, but Blitzcrank has a really insane win rate with new players. He just presses Q, I guess, and hits a skill shot, which isn't too tough to do, but it does the job. The best early game support you can play at lower ranks by a mile. If you blow a flash, he comes at you like a freight train. There's no way to really protect yourself. It's a slippery slope, I guess. Really, you get hooked once and you probably lost the lane. You can actually carry a game really hard though with hooks when you group up as well. So Soraka is very easy to play and to play with. It's a combination here. So heals are very broken and any idiot AD carry can play and win with her, boosting her win rate up. Silence is also broken and can easily carry fights. So she's pretty easy to play, I guess, but she's very easy to play with as well for a team. Taric is another one that can still use Sensor but offers a front line to his AD carry, making it much easier, and Taric can actually 1v1 the enemy AD. Is kind of sad. AD carriers can struggle with engaging with a more defensive support, so if a Janna puts a shield on you, you don't always want to jump in, I guess, but with Taric they don't have to do that and they can use their damage more. Taric has stuns, shields, ultimate. He also takes forever to kill anyway because he's pretty tanky. Finally then, the damage option for support is going to be Brand. The richest support on average, gets the most kills per game as well, does the most damage by a mile, and honestly this damage number is close to a mid lane level. Poke is very hard to play against, and this is what it comes down to. You can 1v2 and shut down a bad AD carry easily if he cannot dodge. So there you go, those are the best champions at each role statistically speaking to climb faster straight away when you pick them up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to Pro Guides again, but for now I'll leave you with the robots.